Oh my gosh. Hit record.
There you go.
This is amazing. Recording. Okay. Now we need to talk. We need to converse because that's the only way it's going to come out.
My internet's
Okay.
not good enough to show my face.
That's okay. I better turn mine off so that the internet can cooperate.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is a fractal. It will replicate itself. And there were a bunch of... This is amazing. You realize how, like, monumentally historic this moment is, right?
Really, since we're talking about it as such.
Yeah.
And it looks
Okay.
beautiful regardless.
Yeah. So it's coming. I suppose we'll start with that one. Okay. So, you see this?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You can do it, program. You can do it, laptop.
Yeah.
So you see the triangles one, the one that looks like a star in the sort of bottom right.
In the second bottom right?
Eight-pointed star in the second bottom right?
Yeah.
Oh, now it's middle-ish, but yeah.
Well, so I wanted the illustration, there it goes, okay. I wanted the illustration to be able to use the geometry to reference pieces of itself. So, where are we going with this? So this can actually reveal the present moment and everyone and the whole picture. And here's how it can do that. We can begin with the alignment wheel wants to actually alignment chart. This is very gorilla, and I love it. So, okay. Oh, this is so exciting. Oh my gosh. Images, alignment chart. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. Images. Come on. Yes. Good. Beautiful. Okay. So this was what I found, the alignment chart. Lawful, neutral, chaotic, good, neutral, evil. But most of these types of charts, because I've seen thousands of them, they're incomplete. Ooh, excuse me. Because, and so I use the word unacknowledged, and for an unconscious mind, or like the unconscious, the sort of hidden, there is the sensory map. Hold on. It would be... It's in the trauma... I just watched it, actually, this in a YouTube video. There's relaxed and social. That's one mode in the physiology. Then there's fight, flight, or freeze. That's another mode. And then there's complete freeze, or I guess numb. That's the third mode. And then within each one, there would be the sensory map, as soon as it loads. And it's not just the 5. They're exploring up to like 20, and they can include ones like the like hunger, the rumbly, that's one. The proprioceptive, knowing where the limbs are, regardless. So like a blind person or a deaf person can know where their limbs are. It's not necessary. That in itself is called, and knowing the position of the head while the eyes are closed, stuff like that. That's proprioceptive.
Okay.
And so there's actually a lot more than we realized. And then there's the whole sensory map, which is even longer. Or like the list of sensations and feelings.
Okay.
And so each one of these would have its own mandala. So each category of the alignment, and so rather than use evil and good and chaotic and neutral, I spend a lot of time figuring that one out as constructive. Constructive or destructive. And it's actually, so it's called the pulsing web. Well, the whole vision, like my earliest vision was of a web, like a spider web, like one of the Halloween illustrations of a spider web. That was sort of my earliest, that was almost like the prototype concept way back. And when I visualized this massively enormous spider web, it occurred to me that each person would have knowledge that they carried, that only they carried, because no two human can be in the same location. Even Siamese twins occupy slightly different positions. And then the linguistic and the social, and that brought in the Max Neef hierarchy of needs. And then later from that, I've been learning a lot about trauma from Dr. Gabor Mate, who, you know him? You know the name?
The name is familiar. I should know some of it. I don't have it right on the top of my head, but it does fire some brain cells.
The book, yeah, The Myth of Normal.
Okay, this sounds familiar.
Yeah, so his grandparents were murdered in Auschwitz. The Auschwitz.
Yep.
He doesn't know where his father went, what happened to him, but in some sort of circumstance, he as a toddler, they were in Hungary, and so he's a Hungarian-born citizen, and he was a toddler in Hungary through World War II.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And so he is an ambassador of childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And he became a medical doctor. I guess him and his mom ended up as refugees in Canada and grew up in British Columbia. And that's where he went to get his doctorate, and he became a medical doctor, and he's been a practicing medical doctor ever since. And then later in his career, he learned about trauma. And when he learned about it from a professional standpoint, it occurred to him that he had been dealing with the symptoms of trauma his whole life. And that is Dr. Gabor Mate's backstory.
One moment. That's lining up with some crap that I dealt with just 2 weeks ago or less. I was...
Yeah. So what I'm in the So what I'm in the process of doing is unpacking the fundamental principles of, because I know some things about the physiology of trauma. I've experienced it too, but I have a bunch of things that allows me to be more of an observer of various energies, like a telepath or an empath. And so what I have been doing is gathering. So here's an example. Within a conversation, everybody, like the majority of humans, so one of the things Dr. Gabor explains is that when a human is not given an experience that the human brain, so like if a baby is kept in a cage, for instance, or if they have some kind of developmental thing that makes them not listen to the music at the right time, or that window for the language development, that these are windows that allow a human to fully embrace the full complement of the human blueprint. And so he said trauma is both an acute event and more importantly, the unconscious physiological and social response to the event. It's not the event, it's the human's response to it, and that response is what they call trauma. And so obviously every baby would have, or every toddler or every kid would have a different set of, responses to various things. But he explains too that that not providing specific experiences is also a trauma, because it deprives the development from fully intellectualizing and basically you don't then lay the stepping stone from which the scaffold of that blueprint can express itself later in the lifetime.
I think I see.
Yeah.
I was looking similar with my problem. Yeah, I'm seeing parallel lines with what I'm dealing with and what you're talking about. This helps me directly, honestly.
Yeah. So then so right now it's probably like in my head the full picture, it's too complex, and that's actually why I drew the artwork, because what I'm able to do, so this artwork can be broken down into its component parts, And the component parts are the parts of the space-time continuum, as well as the theological geometries, as well as so the double helix is in there, the synapse is in there, the part, or the atomic wave is in there, at least symbolically. And what the illustration will be able to do is, just by changing the color of it, and then branching it out fractally with each of those categories that I've sort of outlined in the last 10 minutes, it will illustrate in the present moment what is like the whole picture of what is actually happening. So when someone, like, it's difficult because I'm a participant in these events, so it's going to be a little awkward, but you're actually, like, seriously helping me at this precise moment in figuring out the next step in how to verbalize it to people. Because what it will really do is it will illustrate just how horrific we are to each other. You know, it will basically, it's like an intellectual turning the light on. Because, like, it's so hard, I can't explain it until I can actually use the illustration to show you. But it's designed, or it's been designing itself, I'm just the channel, but it's been designing itself to be like a translation wheel, or like the, hold on, there was another one. Well, I mean, have a look. The Max Neef hierarchy of needs uses similar charts. I would turn circles into octagons just to make it a little more intellectual and graph-like.
Okay.
So the plan, the purpose is to recognize, like, this picture is real good because it will just allow every single, almost like drawing a my life diagram, and so in a conversation or in a conflict or in the dynamic between two companies, you know, like, the whole world is these dynamics. You know, the dynamic of an institution that, you know, so there's obviously destructive, constructive, neutral, and so going through, and so, like, it would allow someone to like figure out the constructive to the unconscious, the constructive to the conscious, the constructive to the expressive, the constructive, neutral thingamabobber. Oh, that's right. Okay.
Reference document, but fast.
Yes. And then my favorite one is the, let's see, scale of flourish. It's basically this 5-point chart with critical, there it is, that's the one, flourish scale. Give it a sec. You can do it. I believe in you. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, okay, so it's taking its time loading, no matter. The red one is crisis, or, well, I think of, like, intensive care unit.
Okay.
There it is, okay. And then the next one is surviving. And then the next one is health. And then the next one is thriving. And then the last one is flourishing. And so there, and it's like it builds on each other. It's fractaline. So like a collection of atoms makes a cell or a molecule. A collection of molecules makes a cell. A collection of cells makes an organ. A collection of organs makes a life form. A collection of life forms makes a household. A collection of households makes a neighborhood. A collection of neighborhoods makes a city. A collection of cities makes a continent. A collection of continents makes a planet. A collection of planets makes a solar system, and it works on all the scales. And so you can apply any part of the pulsing web. Hang on, I had a word. Campaign to a part or the whole, or let's say we apply it to the cellular, and then see how a collection of cellulars affects a collection of cities, or a collection of neighborhoods affects a collection of solar systems, that kind of thing. And so it's very, obviously it's the whole universe, it's very complex, but it allows for what you're doing, your whole wheel, what I'm doing, my whole wheel, the parts I recognize, the parts I don't recognize, the parts you recognize, the parts you don't recognize, and then the flower or wheel that is shared in the sensory, in the vibrational, in the linguistic, and all the things. And it can sort of all just be broken down and simplified. And even if party A or party B, because it can be applied to a company, it can be applied to an ideology, it can be applied to a belief, it can be applied to a declaration, it can be applied to a codex or a charter or a mission statement, and it just plays with itself like consciousness. And so I've been compiling a literal academy, but I didn't want to park it on some, what do you call it? I didn't want to park it on some, the type of, the way that the internet runs now, which is very vulnerable, these like centralized servers that can like be shut down or censored or manipulated, the sort of the dictators of the sorts. I wanted it to be properly decentralized and like owned by those who are interested in using it, And so it will be hosted on the sort of decentralized Web3 blockchain, where just like a DNA strand or a genome, those with the links preserve the library. Library a la planet Earth.
I see. Maybe.
It's complex. You're the first person that I kind of just like simplificatory detail it to. It's a lot.
Is it kind of like the life pattern, but a digital version?
Yes. Yes. and it will, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because the life pattern, I'm going to write that down. Because I don't know it well enough. I only know it in theory. So that is a bit of research I got to go and delve into. There's a lot. There's going to be like this is just one. I had to get one achieved, and that's been what this year has been about. But it's been achieved. Woohoo!
This is amazing. Can you zoom in on it and show us what part is us?
Well, it's fractal. So it's like it could be brought micro. So like the grid just helps with the aligning. So like I could shrink it down and make it just one of these. So like each black line is basically an inch. That right there. And so these smaller units are like a quarter of an inch. And so I could theoretically... What?
Say that again. My brain did not. Someone just texted me. I had to reply. My bad.
No worries. Here, I will provide some visual referencing.
Yeah. Sorry.
So this right here is an inch.
Mm-hmm.
And then so a quarter is, so it's like quarter of an inch. But so like the illustration can be at any scale. So it could be the last oxygen molecule that you inhaled.
Okay.
Or so it can be scaled up, but it has what Adam Apollo describes as self-similarity and recursion. And this was the part of the whole thing that I couldn't explain to people before, because the pattern is the same pattern that the universe uses. Let me show you. Slowly. So the torus is a fundamental pattern in the universe.
It is.
And so here it is.
We're a sort of double inverted torus. Our energy goes up and out our core, our energy input goes in down our middle and out the other side. So we're inverted from the way the energy flows out, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And well, like think of the tree with the crown and the roots.
Okay.
And then the spiral galaxy side on, an apple cut in half with the core going up, and then the little, or the little, or not the core, the little triangle at the bottom and the little stem at the top. What else? I mean, all the fruits, really, when you cut them in half and look at them side on. Even the human, the Vitruvian man, you know. And so this is actually... So we're able to take the hexagon, and so I could draw a line from his forehead to sort of towards, so I could place like a triangle or two triangles, rather, two right-angled triangles with the larger end at the top and the smaller end down where his forehead is. And then that creates, hold on, let me show you in here if I can, this right here, and I'll make it big so that you can see it. Oh, there we go. Okay. Too wide. It's gonna go slow, but that's okay. And that's a little big, so I will shorten it up. There we go. Okay. So by going like this, and then like that, and then like this, and then duplicate, and then there you go. And then the magic starts, because we can overlap it, and it shows the cell dividing. We can go out here, and we see a tree.
Tree, you say?
Yeah. Right right there in the middle with the lines. Hang on. And so you have the crown and the roots. And then, hang on, Taurus nature.
Okay, so
it's everywhere.
And it has to be in order to push in on itself in order to do what it does. And that's why it hates a vacuum.
Well, even the vacuum has waves. The Planck, they call them Planck oscillations. There you go. That gives you a few as soon as it loads in.
We get a more
so the top. Yeah, hang on. It's just slow. I'm on a satellite internet connection.
Yeah, it happens. King of Fighters is called Satellinet. Sorry, I have all sorts of trivia like that.
I'm in my own space, so new stuff is sort of excluded for now. Oh, this is cool. It actually shows like the whole progression. There we go. I recognize a bunch of them. So the top right one is the is iron filings with a magnet in the middle. And so it shows the electromagnetic torus. And then we have some single-celled organisms, and then the tree, and the human field, the apple, a hurricane, and they can actually observe. So the aurora borealis, and the way that it's like a
isn't there also?
It's like this.
Isn't there also,
it's like this kind of pattern, left and right. Let me just show you. so like you would mirror this the other way. Hold on. Like this, and so at the top is the North Pole, and at the bottom is the equator, and so the so the path of the storms, like the atmospheric storm conditions, they and then it would be kind of mirrored the other way, and so they kind of move from South Pole to North Pole to South Pole along the this kind of thing. And the aurora borealis also. So the aurora borealis is like the it's like the heartbeat, the electricity of the heartbeat of the planet, and then all the storms move on this like path from north to south, and then north again, and then south to north, and then south again. So you can actually see the torus of the Earth as its heart beats and it breathes, which I think is kind of cool.
Can you illustrate how for the audience? A little more closely. Like any color coding.
Color coding?
Yeah.
Not today.
Not today. It's okay.
I would wonder if I can do something official later when it's, because today I'm exhausted. It's been like 4 or 5 hours of like being in a voice room while these, like, so I'm basically conducting such enormous topics. My cranium is there's steam coming out of the cranium.
Yeah, you're in good company. I'm working on some music thing, and it's mixed with like 5 or 6 other topics all at once that have all been coming
Right.
themselves all at once. Same happened for you,
Yeah.
I take it?
It did, yes.
An academic, we are become visible. Would you like me to stop recording now?
I think so, yeah. I feel like we got what would needed to be gotten.
Should I sing my outro? Or just stop?
Go ahead and sing the outro. That sounds amazing.
Okay. There's a recall when you used to roll around me. One second. And you'd say nothing at all, 'cause you had your victory. Now I can remain calm and pass on my reluctance, and it takes nothing at all, 'cause you can't win everything. Time's but a fading memory, with all the luck I thought I'd need, and all the wonders never cease. There is a first time for everything, and this time I'll find that I haven't burned for the last time, and this time I'll try not to get left behind. I take it slow, calm, and I find all of my devotions, and remain hopeful that all things are how they ought to be. Times but a fading memory with all the luck I thought I'd need, and all the wonders never cease. That is the first time for everything, and this time I find that I have been burned for the last time. And this time I'll try not to get left behind. There we go.
There we go.
Good luck on your side.
Luck on your
This
side.
is Martin 424
This is
signing
Martin
off.
424 signing off.